Good day, One Nation Tribal Alliance, brothers and sisters near and far. Today, I want to share with you um, some of my uh, elders and I have been talking about. And I think we brought it up because, it's been left out in the religion part of the native way. And that is, I want to talk to you about pitsima. What is pitsima? Pitsima in our spiritual way is the divine mother. The divine mother bringing the divine feminine in our ways. And when I look at that, you know, word pitsima, I ask my elders, why is pitsima so important? Well, before I get too far into it, pitsima in Zuni means a cotton plant. The cotton that people grow, the white ball with the soft and then cotton. And I said, well, why is it so? Why is it the divine feminine? And they said because it's got two parts to it. And I said, okay, what are the two parts? And those two parts are first, there is a soft part about that plant. The soft part is the cotton that it produces. And I said, okay. And then there's a rough part about it. I said, what do you mean the rough part? They said, the rough part is the plant itself. And that is, if you ever pick cotton and you don't wear gloves, boy, it's going to tear up your hands. Even though it's not the cotton that will tear up your hands, but it's the plant. And so, you know, I said, okay, let's narrow it down to what it correlates to in the divine feminine part. So they said, well, okay, the divine feminine part about that cotton plant is that you have to think about it as the strength of the feminine part. And I said, okay, the strength of feminine. The feminine are usually, soft, comfort, loving, and you know, very light in the light. And I said, okay. And I said, then the other part about it is, you know, they can be rough, they're tough, and they are more powerful than you can imagine. And I said, okay, break it down. All right. So I studied more into it and I said, well, what do they mean by soft and understanding in the light, trustworthy about that thing? And it's because when they talked about it, I started looking into more about our characters in this religious world. And that is that, and what I came up with is one, Mary Magdalene and Lilith. And in the religious sector about those two, Mary Magdalene and Lilith, you know, they were actually, you know, not negative in the religion way, but they were pointed out being so negative. They said Lilith disobeyed the Father or God, and then Mary Magdalene wanted forgiveness from being a prostitute or whatever she did. And so those are the way they were characterized. But if you really dig deep into what they were, who these were, and I'll quickly explain that and I'll tell you how it relates to in a native way that the elders and I were talking about. And that is that Lilith, yes, he or she did not, you know, deny God or did not disobey God, because it's not written as she disobeyed God. It is written that when Adam told her to get below me, she stood up her ground and said no to Adam. I am equal as you are because I was created the same way you were. And so I said, okay, so really, again, in the religion sect, they're telling you that she disobeyed God, but really she was disobeying Adam and refusing to go in to the Garden of Eden. You know, it wasn't by disobeyment. It's just refusing to stand her ground, which made her powerful. And now about Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene, yeah, they labeled her as a prostitute, and when she finally, I guess, come to an awakened state, she they said that she wanted forgiveness and all this kind of stuff about her past, but really, she was chosen because her light, her commitment, her dedication, and she was given secrets because she can handle the secrets. You know, a lot of people say in the divine masculine side say women gossip a lot, women gossip a lot. Well, you look at this, I look at it this way. Men gossip more than women because when men work together, the subjects that you hear is about gossip. And so to be separated from that, I just shut everybody off and just continue what I have to do if I have to be around men. Even in Kivas, they do that. They talk about the women, and the women have no say so because they're not invited in the kiva. Now, why are they not? I don't know. That is religion. Now, going back to Zuni, or going back to the elders that we talked about, the divine feminine in the plant, pitsima, is very, very important. If you understand about the plant, the cotton ball, represents Mary Magdalene because it's pure, white, soft, understanding, will give you comfort, will give you love, and all this. Now, the plant part of it is rough and tough. Again, if you ever pick cotton, most people just go and grab the cotton ball and walk. They do not try to fight the plant. They do not try to, pull the plant out in because it will stand its ground. The cotton will. That's why people, when they pick cotton, they just grab the ball, and with the ball, the protection on it that stands and protected is the the actually the leaf that holds that cotton ball. You just grab it from bottom and pull the whole thing out, and that's how you pick up. But if you don't wear your gloves, it's gonna rip your hand apart, and that's what stands its ground. That cotton plant stands its ground, and so when you look at it, I guess when we illustrate pitsima as into the native culture, it was here because it was brought in because maybe an analogy that they're using about that or what. But when they pick that cotton ball, you know, they have to you have to understand because back in the day, some of my elders used to tell me that they would, in order to make prayer sticks, they would have to make their own string to tie up the prayer sticks. And when they did that, they would get cotton and they would stretch it out and they would roll it until it becomes a string. And even in the prayer, it's in there recognizing the divine feminine, thanking it for creating the peristic for them and thanking them for the strength of the cotton to tie up the peristics. And so with this cotton plant, it the way I look at it is the plant itself protecting that cotton ball is because the divine feminine stood up to their strength and said, look, you are equally created as I am. And if you understand who you are created half. Your divine feminine is on your right side. Your divine masculine is on the left side. And if you look at the medicine wheel, inside the circle is the divine masculine, which is the balanced cross. The circle is the first line in the middle, is covering the divine masculine to say that, I am over equally around you, touching all four sides of the balanced cross, the elemental square. Now, the outer part is the strong connection of the spiritual life of a womb, because that is considered the cosmic womb. And the cosmic womb, if you look at it, is our connection into the ultra consciousness. So the divine feminine is very important in the spiritual society that the religious societies have pulled out. And the spiritual society still recognizes it because, some of the things that they do on their winter, solstice event, the first night on that part, they bring in the divine feminine, the first night of the fasting. And then, it goes on to where now when you see everything, I see, like when I see the kivas that are built, why is it a circle with an entrance in the middle? You go up the side, you go in the middle. That circle is the divine feminine. You're going into the cosmic womb when you fast, if you're in a kiva. But, because of some people's abilities and challenges, they had to put a side door to come in now. And, they got lenient with that. Also, in the divine feminine part, if you look at it, in some of these hieroglyphs, it starts in a circle and the Fibonacci circle is what also represents the divine feminine, because on the Fibonacci circle is the ancestral lineage going up to connect to the Big Bang, to where we all started from. And if you understand about consciousness, the divine feminine brings in the higher consciousness easier, because when you ground, where do you connect first? Mother Earth, Mother Feminine. When you ground, you connect with the mother, connecting to the creator. So it's a start, it's a base of everything in your raising vibration, helping yourself, and understanding that, the divine feminine is there before, in front of us, to start whatever we're going to start, whether it's meditation, whether it's healing, whatever. You got to understand that the divine feminine is just as present. your Holy Trinity, Father, Mother, and you. The divine feminine has to be present along with the creator and then you to do what you need to do. And a couple of examples that I have learned and heard from good friends of mine, you know, is that the Lilith part is that, you know, I have a friend that used to be abused quite a bit by her husband. And then one day she just decided enough is enough. So when that abuse started, boy, she reared back and fought back, toe to toe. And when it was all said and done, you think that man stood around? No. He says, I can't control this woman. No, it's not about control. It's supposed to be about love, partnership, and everything. And you can always see on the divine masculine who is controlling, who is in power, which shouldn't be. Because remember, we're half, we're balanced. And if you are balanced, everything be okay. Because, you know, again, another one that I want to share with you is that, you know, we men are born arrogant into arrogancy because, when you're a child, when you cry, we are taught to hide our feelings. Be a man, don't cry. Be a big boy, don't cry. But if a little girl is crying, come here, baby, cuddle her up. Why are you crying? What's the matter? What can I get you? You know. But when they tell you, be a man, don't cry, they're telling you to hide your feelings. Even in toys, little girl gets a doll to take care of and nurture that little baby. Even though it's a doll, they play around, they love it, they care for it, and they take care of it. Whereas a little boy who's get a slingshot, GI Joe thing, kill, 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 hurt this thing, kill this thing. We are taught differently. But I tell you one thing. One more example is that you go to a divine feminine when she has had enough. It'll take whatever it takes in her to be protective of what she loves. And if she loves you, she'll protect you. If she loves you, she'll nurture you. She'll provide for you. And you have to understand that is love that she is sharing with you. Whereas a man would have to say, control, and all this. No, let's be equal. I want to bring out this little thing about the cotton plant because, again, some of the elders used to tell me they're taking that out of our prayer, but it's the most important part of a prayer to say, bringing this strength, because this strength is bringing light, purity, love, and everything, where it's controlled, where, you know, on a man, it's not controlled. And I just wanted to share this with y'all. And I could go more deep into it, but this is just a quick example of what I've been sharing with the elders because it's come a time. We all these prophecies about this. What's the prophecies about? Mother Earth. What about the divine masculine? What's he doing about it? Remember, we're equal. And to close this, I just remind y'all that my class is coming up starting next Saturday. And we're going to continue or starting out 2026 with the teachings of ascension and getting knowledge. And the first class is coming up on February 7th, Saturday at 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is going to be 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And there is an energy exchange of $100 for this, and it's going to have 13 lessons in there. And I don't know how long it's going to take us because time will tell as we start to cover each lesson. But I'm gonna keep it to about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. But I want to do as many lessons as I can, but I'm not going to rush it because I'm gonna. Those of you who have questions, I will answer it. It's going to be on Zoom. So if you want to sign up, you know, email me at yawakia@yahoo.com. Look at the video that I posted previously about the class, and it's going to be a real good class. It's about the first question that is asked that I was asked when I started, and that is Chuapto, meaning who are you? And we're going to talk about who we really are, our consciousness, energy, vibration, frequency. I'm going to identify that of how it is in this class. Get a hold of me at onenationtribalalliance.com, which is our website, or yawakia@yahoo.com, which I'll write it down on the bottom. Thank you. I love y'all, and I look forward to, if you sign up for the class, to do it with y'all. Share the knowledge with you. I love you.